break a little early. There's one thing I realized that I forgot to mention. In your materials, again, you'll see there's a lot of family law materials in here because they're not readily available. So that's why we want to make them available to you. There is a 2-page document called Domestic Relations Information Sheet. Whenever you file any pleading with the court and family court in Philadelphia County, you have to include a Domestic Relations Information Sheet. It's a 2-page document. The document that is currently available on the 1st Judicial District's website is not the current form, which is why we're including it here. It's a little different, but this is actually the form to use. If you can photocopy it, type it up. If you don't want to do it that way, contact me, and I will send you a PDF version that you can actually type into and then print it out. But you always have to include it. Once you file something with the court and you actually have this prepared, you can then just attach photocopies of it for subsequent pleadings as long as the information hasn't changed. Yes, we have a question.
Is the DRIS in this packet the same one that's in the form book right now?
In which form book?
The 2011 Philadelphia.
The Philadelphia County Domestic Relations Practice, yes, that is the correct one. It's just the one that's on the 1st Judicial District website is not the correct one. Sorry.
We'll have it removed. Replaced.
I just want to add one other piece in terms of tying up the civil litigation end of it. We talked or referenced settlement conferences, and Judge Tereshko commented that it's a court-driven system. In terms of the case management conference orders, you will find that once you've reached the deadlines, the discovery deadline, the motion deadline, and things are kind of drawing to that date where you may get a trial, there will be a pretrial order issued that will be emailed to you, and it will set forth, you're going to have a pretrial conference on X date, you're going to be in front of Judge so-and-so, and it will outline exactly what you need to file for purposes of your pretrial memo. And then you will thereafter have a settlement conference closer in time to the trial date. At the pretrial conference, a trial date will be given. It'll be a date certain. You will know exactly when you're going. You'll be able to, circling back to our original conversation, talk with your client, let them know the process, let them know we now have a trial date, this is where it's going to be, this is who we're going to be in front of. We have a jury trial, we have a bench trial, whatever the case may be. And as that date gets closer, you will have a settlement conference, and it will be with the trial judge or the team leader, certainly. And at that juncture, you should have your client available, if not present, with you, and have an understanding of the process and what's going on.
Right. Just a clarification. The settlement conference is held in most of the programs with JPTs, judges pro tem. So you may not see the judge. Sometimes you'll get the judge stepping in certain cases, but most of them are held with volunteer lawyers who are coming in, like Jerry, for example, is there all the time. They come in and they help us settle these cases through the Dispute Resolution Center. That's the settlement conference. Then that pretrial order kicks out, as Regina pointed out. Then you're going to get to the judge. So if we can't settle it at the settlement event, then it moves on to the judge, pretrial conference. The order is issued, the trial order is issued, as she pointed out. That order can either give you a trial date certain in the complex cases, which are what you handle most of the time, the med mals and the product liabilities. Trial date certain. We know you got to get witnesses in. We know you need the experts, etc. The other group of cases, your expedited cases and your standard cases, they're normally placed in a trial pool to go to trial on or after February 1st, 2012. So for a particular pool month, and then you're on notice to be called in within 24 hours telephone notice to come in for trial. So that's the little difference there. You do have a trial date certain, as you pointed out, and your complex cases, your expedited and standard cases are normally pools, unless there's a request at that pretrial conference for a trial date certain for any given reason.
On the family court side, settlement conferences do exist. They're not formal. Sometimes judges will say, do you want to have a settlement conference? Come on in. I know one particular judge, if he has a settlement conference, they're at 8 a.m. because that's when the judge is at the courthouse. Other times, if you're before a judge, if you think it would be helpful to have a settlement conference or to talk to the judge, there's never a problem with saying to the judge's staff, can we have a conference with the judge before we start? The judge will take both attorneys back, and we'll have a little bit of a settlement conference there. With masters, some of the proceedings before the masters are by themselves settlement conferences. That gets into the specifics of individual cases, and I would definitely refer you to the Philadelphia County Domestic Relations Practice course because that goes into more detail. One other thing I forgot to mention Initially, Regina had pointed out there were the two different entries of appearance, one if you're listing a firm address, one if you're listing VIP's address. Some of you are newer attorneys, you are having your own firms, and you're really operating out of your apartments. We understand that. And what we do at VIP is we give you the alternative. You can use VIP's address as your mailing address. We ask that you have a phone number that you can be contacted separately because we'll give the client that phone number. But you can use VIP's address for court's purposes and for the client to send you documents. When we get them, we'll scan them, we'll email them to you. We also have conference rooms available at Philadelphia VIP. If you give us a few days' notice, we'll use our best efforts to make sure conference room space is available for you to meet with your client. So we can be like your office, we just can't do everything for you that an office would. If there's no other comments, what we'll do is we'll take a break until about 11 o'clock.
I just wanted, first of all, to thank you all very much. I know I learned a lot this morning, and I think everyone in this room really appreciates your comments and your help. Please be sure that you have signed in the sign-in sheet. That way you will be receiving your CLE credits. If you haven't signed in the sheet, then you won't be receiving CLE credits. So be sure you haven't seen a sheet.
I'll have one back here.
Okay, thank you, Jody.
And
also, if you're not going to be here for the 11 o'clock part of our program, the Art of Advocacy, please fill in the evaluation sheet and give it to Matt, our VIP paralegal. He has his hand raised right now because those evaluations are very important to us. Mike?
No, I just wanted to make sure you sign the second sign-in sheet for the second half because it's really two programs.
I'll be sure you all do that. But thank you again for attending. If you're staying for the 11 o'clock, you have a few minutes to stretch your legs, have some more food, and we're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
And I just want to thank everybody. I just wanted to thank everyone for coming, but also especially thank you all for volunteering your services to our pro bono community, because it's incredible what you all do, and it couldn't get done without your support.
Thank you, Regina. Thank you.